Hello everybody, my name is Maceface, and today we are going to do a world tour of the Minecraft survival world that I've had since somewhere in the 1.14 snapshots. So to start off, I want to quickly just show what the world looked like when I originally generated it. And so what I did is I opened up the game in 1.14 and I just recreated the world with that same seed so that I get the same thing, because now in 1.18 the world generation is very different, and so it's just not going to look the same in these already generated chunks of my world. So without further ado, let's begin. Alright, so this is my seed. As you can see, it is a forest. It's nothing special. The reason I'm showing this is because I've done a lot of transformation of the landscape around here, because I'm someone who likes to build with redstone, but I wanted to challenge myself on my survival world that I created a few years ago to start building more natural things as well as doing redstone, because I mean, let's face it, redstone's awesome. But this is what the world looked like. This is what my spawn looked like. This is where I built my main base that I still live in to this day. And so yeah, this is what it looked like, and now we're going to move on to the current version of my world. Alright, so now we are in my current version of my survival world. So let's begin. So we got this area here. As you can see, there are a lot of adjustments going on here. So I wanted originally to do some sort of desert oasis base. Well, in the desert the leaves look like trash. So I decided I would make my own desert in this forest biome because I like the color of the leaves. These are jungle leaves here on these palm trees. So I made this, little desert oasis, and to get the sugarcane here, I've got slabs going on that are waterlogged, of course, so that way there's next to water. And so I ended up building this pyramid, and I've got water runoff through here. The reason that it's filled is from this ocean, I try to take into account some lore into this world. It's not perfect or anything, but it's something. So you see this giant mountain here with all this crap here going on. The reason I built this mountain, I think I built this mountain probably 2 years ago, and it's not all that great. It's just the first thing I ever built, related to mountain building. It's because they announced the Caves and Cliffs update. Actually, it might have even been before they announced Caves and Cliffs update. Anyway, I wanted a mountain in the background. So I built this, and there's some adjustments that need to be done for sure. But I have this mountain, and then when the Nether update came out, I decided I wanted this area to be some sort of corruption around. It's really not even finished, but I've got this corruption going on. I've got all these nether trees going. I've got this like purple fog coming out of a crack in the ground. Most of this was naturally generated. Some of it I ended up making myself, like I think this area, and I think somewhere out here as well. But for the most part, like this big chunk of the ravine was naturally generated. Oh, and this, I did this as well. But yeah, so the idea was that I'll have some sort of creature coming out of this mountain, and it's like corrupting the area. And so I have, they built this wall here to protect the oasis, right? I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring it out as I go. Let's see. So yeah, we've got this wall. It's clearly not even finished here. It's just a lot of work, really, and you get kind of bored, burnt out on it, so you abandon things for a while. Inside this mountain is actually hollow. Woo! We can't land properly. Anyway, so we've got an iron farm up there. I don't think it actually works anymore. I haven't really checked in a long time. But it goes to my main storage. Just a quick little nether wart farm that I use for like fortune pickaxe and stuff to get a good yield out of it. I ended up... Oh, it actually does work. Look at that. That's good to know. And then I've got a little... this is a basalt generator. When the nether update started, I wanted to generate basalt because I could. So it's just a little basalt generator that pushes it, and you can AFK here. It is terribly inefficient, but I was just playing around with the new mechanics and stuff, so that's why that is there. Let's see, yeah, so we can take that home here in a little bit. But yeah, it's nothing, and the whole stuff I was planning on having something in here. That's why I moved most of this mycelium in here, but then you just get bored. Anyway, let's head out of here. Ooh, can't fly apparently. So we've got this oasis. In this oasis we have my original sheep farms, which has a dead sheep somehow. I'm guessing he got struck by lightning or something. But these are all just individual modules. They didn't connect to anything. They were just there to really fill up the land. There is a total of 16 of them, one for every sheep. There's some over here as well. Yeah, so over here is, while we're over here, is there's a the first farm I built in this area was this little chicken cooker thing. I wanted a little tiny temple type thing going on. I've got 4 of them. This storage is well over full, I'm sure. I had this little cavern that I would come down here. This is before I had my main storage area. But yeah, you can see this is quite full. Actually, let's go ahead and just fill up some of our chicken storage while we're at it. Yeah, so sheep farms everywhere. All this sand was obviously moved from a desert. It was a pain in the butt, I can tell you that for sure. Here you can see my Halloween friends. I have plans for these guys. I'm going to be building a mob zoo, which we will show later in this tour that I'm currently working on. This is just a temporary beacon. Okay, so let's move on to this part of the oasis. So we've got our first dragon egg. This is just a little ruined shrine for it, you know. It's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. I had a lot of area I needed to fill, and I thought, why not a little shrine? Now this is a little watchtower thing. I think I found a tutorial on YouTube for it or something, and then just chose a different color scheme, if I remember correctly. But I just wanted, well, there's 2 reasons. One, I wanted something to look at this area with. I did not have an elytra yet when I built this, so I wanted a way to overlook the progress. So that's the main reason this was built. But actually below, if I can get down, is the storage to my slime spawner. Well, slime farm, I guess. It's where all the slime goes. It's obviously full because I never come here. But actually while we're here, this was actually my main area when I first started. I came into this cave, and there's actually still some stuff here. My own little storage area. This also was a chicken cooker. I wonder if there's chicken still in there. Yes. I believe you stood on here in order to turn on the furnaces, I think. You came in here for mine shaft, which got closed up. But yeah, so there is a slime farm underneath this area. Those are the eggs, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go into spectator so we can see that. So down here, I don't have a way to get down here, that's why we're going into spectator mode. This is my slime farm, so we just have iron golems that the slimes can see from across the room, and then they jump to their deaths, as slimes typically end up doing in these sorts of farms, and then it is collected through the minecart, and then the slime is sent up a water elevator. And then is obviously put into these chests. Oh look, a slime died while we were having this conversation up here. Anyway, so yeah, so this is the Oasis area. Now let's move on to that stuff. Alright, so I was talking about wanting some lore. Well, this is where I kind of began with that. So the first thing I actually built over in this area was this little windmill, which again I think I got from a YouTube tutorial and maybe changed it up a bit. But I just, yeah, there's nothing here. I just wanted something to look at on this little hill. And there's these little houses. I'm going to have to move villagers over here eventually, but this will be a thriving village at some point. There's just a lot of little things like a small little wheat farm, and there's actually, oh, there's a couple villagers here. This was a ravine that I wanted to make look way deeper than it actually is, so a lot of black concrete and black stained glass. Big pain in the butt early game because I did not have a farm for ink sacs. So yeah, this was sword slain squid ink in action here. I've got this nice little bridge with the campfires going across, and then a protective barrier to keep these dumb little villagers from falling into that ravine, because they'll just stand on the glass and it won't look very cool. But I got a couple of these bridges going across, and a lot of these little houses. I got these custom trees here. I guess they're kind of like willows, maybe. I don't know. I just thought they'd look kind of cool, just drooping down. I've got a well here. It's meant to look like it's, you know, alive and flowing water in there. I don't really know how wells work all that much. I know they don't pour water in. They're given from the ground, but I wanted some animation going on, so that's why that's like that. I think it looks kind of cool. Anyway, so got some cows here. It's just, this is like meant to be like the poor, or really I guess more like middle class area. Just a lot of the same, right? Just covering the area. And then, ooh, we should probably eat. So then we move on to this area over here, and I don't really know what the point of this bridge is. There's not really a way to walk, but I wanted to build a bridge across this for some reason. Okay, so over here, this is just, I wanted to build a giant farm, so I did that, and I want this area to be kind of like the farmer's area. So I got this farmhouse thing going on with another little windmill. This was, a lot of this is tutorials because I'm not all that creative in terms of building style so far. A lot of my stuff is more redstone based, but a lot of that stuff was me. This stuff though, I mean, it just looks really good, right? And it fits the style that I want, so that's what I did. But this is a, like I said, this is a little farmer's house here, and then I have this going right into this wheat field. And then over here, I've got a stable for horses. This is just, these aren't anything special. They're just horses that I gathered from over there and brought over here. This actually is custom terrain. There's a lot of that going on over there, you'll see. Like I said, I wanted to practice building natural things like custom terrain and trees. So that's what this area is going to end up becoming. Here is like a blacksmith type building. This was from a tutorial. But you got like a little thing going on here. I think it's pretty cool. And then the reason I actually built this is because I wanted to be able to store like armor stuff. Do I even have any armor? I just have my elytras over here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, got some stuff in here. These are actually from 1.14 when you could put all those enchantments on the same stuff. So I made like a bunch of it because they removed that ability later. So I made as much as I could of those items. And the reason I have OP-ish named on these is because I am unable to have what is the enchantment that I don't have on there? Soul Speed. So I won't be able to have Soul Speed on there anymore. But yeah, and so I don't actually have that armor on right now because I like this armor that I have, but this will be something that I use at some point. Yeah, so this is a little armory area. This has been flattened out, sort of, kind of customized to build kind of like a industrial, like shopping area type thing where people have different services. And this will obviously be filled with villagers at some point. Over here, this is a really cool dragon fountain I found that I took some liberties with the texture because I wanted to use some of these new blocks at one point. I guess these are 17 blocks to make it look a little different. But yeah, and this will have some sort of pond thing going on. But this is actually one of the last things I built in this area at the time being. Let's look over this giant tree because I know you've been staring at it for a while, ready for me to talk about it. So before any of this stuff was built, I built this giant tree. Oh, and now I'm getting attacked by a skeleton because I wanted a giant tree. And I've decided this is like some sort of sacred tree, you know, kind of like the Avatar movie with the blue people. There was that sacred tree. I know up there is a little rough, okay? It's my first giant tree. It's a lot harder than you'd think. But I have a giant tree. And then I've got these little stalls here for shops before I decided I wanted to do that. Probably will keep these little shops here just because I think they're cool and they're around the giant sacred tree, you know. Over here. Before we get into there, let's actually talk about how we just walked over there. So I built this kind of bridge, natural looking bridge here, and this terrain up here because this was floating whenever I built it, but I wanted it to kind of look as natural as I can, or at least natural to me. So this is all custom terrain. This is actually custom terrain, I believe, too. Not as impressive, in my opinion, as some of this newer terrain that I built recently. Oh, I can't even pick up that grass. Let's toss that out here. Ugh. As you can see, I've got the old damage sounds on for a resource pack because, I mean, that's just an awesome sound. Anyway, so let's talk about this bad boy right here. So this is a library that I used a tutorial for. I mean, this is just way too cool for me to have designed. But I needed something big for a reason, and because I wanted a big center, like, thing that you can see from a distance. So we've got this library that you can see from over here all the way back there. You can see it. And this is actually has a purpose, just like the blacksmith going on there. I've got my enchanted books stored here. So when you walk in, you've got this little reception area. You know, you got the little staff only thing going on, you know. I'll have a librarian villager in here once I figure out a way to keep him from jumping up here. But yeah, so really cool looking library. I plan on putting some villagers in here, some librarians that I can trade with them. Currently I just have a small little villager trading setup, but I want specific librarians in here, just really not just usefulness, but I think it would be a good idea to keep some here because this is where I come for enchanted books anyway, and I can get enchanted books from them. But we've got this area over here. It's just more room for trading. Actually, I don't think I have trading stalls set up here. I need to set some up here. I planned on having trading stalls here, but it's just a library, right? And I think it fits the aesthetic of the area pretty well. Of course, we're gonna go upstairs. You got this cool little viewing area and the seating area down there. And again, we've got great views of the area. I want to be able to look at the cool things in my world while being in the world itself, you know, not just flying around in spectator mode, which is awesome in itself. But yeah, so we want cool viewing areas in anything that we build if possible. So we've got this nice balcony here, which is a big reason why I chose this YouTube video. I don't remember who did it. It's been a while. But yeah, it looks cool and I really like it. And it's going to be functional because, well, I mean, it is functional. I've got the basement. So the basement here is where I store my enchanted books. I store every type here that I can. And I have room for more enchanted books in the future. Not much room, but we've got room. Probably wondering what this is. So this is a data pack that I have that actually is XP storage because I just thought it'd be cool to have. I don't really use it very often. If anything, it's more just so I can just dump them off so I don't have those numbers in the way like I do right now. I've got a wonderful XP farm. Well, actually several wonderful XP farms. But this is just a place that I can quickly get some XP if I need to enchant, which I don't really enchant anymore because of villagers and such. But you got a little hidden enchantment table down here in the floor. Everything you need here, ready to go. So functional library basement is what I decided to do with this area, and just keep this all for aesthetics. And I really like the use of the azalea saplings here in the flower pots. I think that looks really good. I know I'm tooting my own horn here, but hey, what can you say? Now, we've covered everything in this area except for that pyramid. And I know it's been staring you in the face when talking about my main base. This is my main base, this little pyramid here. It's got a little villager statue going on. It's free to enter. And this is my main base. So I plan on keeping dragon eggs on these pedestals. I still need to get a few more, but yeah, I'll just gotta fight the dragon a few more times. It's not like it's very hard. It's just I get lazy. Let's actually go from up there so we can look at the map of the area so far. Oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't because we haven't revealed some of the stuff yet in the world. Let's just start with downstairs, and then we got another XP storage thing. This is actually the first one I built. So, down here, we've got a couple aquariums. So I've got an aquarium for tropical fish, just some armor stands here with wandering trader heads. I have a vanilla tweaks data pack to get all the mob heads because it's just another thing that you can collect, and I'm using that here later. I'll show you what I've done with that. But I got a axolotl aquarium as well because I think this area just needed an aquarium. Down here is the mine shaft that I don't use. Oh, take a lot of damage flying down here. I used it for like very little strips before I got a beacon and could start using the beacon for mining, but this was my mine shaft. Most of my mining was done in that cave area, by the time I moved in here, I didn't really need to do much mining anymore. And I mean, I still do mining just in different ways, but anyway. So let's move on to the main part of the main base here. So for this main base area here that I have, this is where you walk in. So these chests here are inputs for my item filter. I tend to just dump everything and I just like it to be auto sorted. So that's what I do. I have 6 double chests in order for me to dump stuff in, because when I work on big projects, sometimes I just have a lot of stuff and it just makes it easier to just dump it all in there. And I also have these shulker box unloaders, so because you know, with shulker boxes you're gonna be having a bunch of junk in there. I just walk in here, place them down in these hoppers, and then they get unloaded, and then when I'm done I can just close it up, pick them up, and I just store them over here in this chest. This is my utilities area here. Yeah, so I just keep this cauldron for what was I gonna say? Concrete. There we go. For concrete. So I have a data pack that instead of having to do concrete powder into regular concrete the normal way, I can just toss the stacks of powder into a cauldron and then it'll just turn them into regular concrete. So that is why that is there. And then we've got the cool Pig Step CD here. Or I guess record disc, it's not a CD, but yes. You know, we gotta. So this is my utilities area. I've got my to-do list of things that I want to do in the world. And there's more things that I haven't added on to the list that are just kind of in my head, but that's just kind of where I go to when I look for things to work on that I feel like working on. Here I just have some turtle eggs for a future project. I keep potions here. Well, a bulk amount of potions. I have a potion thing I'll show you later. What you're hearing, this clicking sound, is the item sorter dispensing the items to the water streams and stuff. Here's my bedroom. I'm actually going to sleep the night away and set our spawn point here because it's my spawn point currently is far away. And then I've got these armor stands with extra gear in case I die. I need to go get my stuff. Ooh, we almost missed that shulker box. That would have been expensive. Here I have my item filter, which we'll show later for those of you that don't know what I mean by that, but this is what I use for my filters. I just call it bamboozled. Anyway, so down here, nether portal, we'll go in there a little bit later. I have some nether coordinates and overworld coordinates just there for later. These chests just have some gear that I need to move over to that armorer. And then this is where I used to keep my mob heads, but I moved it. Up here from my first Halloween on this world, I got a zombie with a pumpkin and a skeleton with a pumpkin, and I gave them armor. And they're just kind of stored up there as little trophies. They get a little loud and annoying, so I kind of wish I didn't put them there, but they've been there for literally like 3 years now, and I feel bad taking them out. So I think I'm just gonna leave them there. Alright, so let's move on to, let's go this side first. So down here I've got a big storage system. So on both sides there's actually storage systems. It's all connected into one. It kind of starts off going this way and then kind of comes around, and then this is where all the stuff that didn't get sorted goes to. But over here we've got all of our items here. I've got the item frames invisible here just for aesthetic purposes because I think it looks pretty cool. Let's actually get a couple more rockets. And then as you can see here, the chicken is currently filling up into there one at a time. Didn't have to do that. I know it's easier to do it, just dump them in there. But when you have the chest full, you can't do that. So you just kind of dump it in there. I am out of lapis. That's good to know. not too many shulker shells left. I've got a lot of redstone because I have a witch farm. Yeah, so this is kind of like my redstone and like important stuff. This is just some more items. And then this is an extension to that I added later. So I started putting more stuff. Down here, I added this extension when the Nether update came out. So this is all like the new Nether blocks, as well as some other miscellaneous things like bone blocks. And then I added some end stuff. And then here's my color room. I plan on extending this another section to get all the other color blocks, but yeah, concrete and all that stuff will come down here, get whatever color I need, and move on. And then you're probably wondering why I'm moving so fast. So this is actually a more recent addition. I have soul sand down here with my soul speed 3 boots, so I can walk really fast. And I've got that beacon, the speed beacon, so I move really fast around my storage area, which is really nice to do. Down here actually is the output of that iron farm. This used to be full, but I crafted a lot of hoppers for a project, and I crafted a lot of shears for that project as well, for a giant wool farm we will get to later. So this is an added area that I haven't done anything with. It connects to the other storage area, so this is not really anything special to see. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this area. It's just there at this point. Boop. Eat some more. So let's move on to the other side. So here I've got my original small little furnace array up here. Don't have any fuel left in there, but I mean there's probably still plenty of fuel, but this I can just dump in. I used to supply it with sticks, and then I added coal because I have a wither skeleton farm. But yeah, so if I need to melt something really small and quick, I use this, but otherwise I have a big furnace array we'll get to later. This guy, I need to move him to my eventual mob zoo, but this is a pillager who his crossbow is broken, so he is completely passive. He will not hurt me. Right now he's just there making noise. So this is the rest of the storage area. This is blocks mainly. And this is a recent addition as well. This is for like the newer 1.17 and 1.18 blocks, and then I went ahead and I moved the other ore blocks from that other side to here so they can all be together. And yeah, and then I got some more room for expansion. I will expand this further as well because I need to store more blocks. I mean, there's just so many blocks in the game, and they keep adding more, so there will be like a 1.19 section and a 1.20 and however long I keep this world for. And yes, it gets very laggy. Thankfully, I have a pretty good computer that I built that can handle this area, but on my other computer it got pretty laggy. So I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I do it, but we can actually show you some of the redstone. So as you notice, this is actually a double layer filtering system. I never did this before, and it was kind of difficult to fit it all in there. On old worlds, I would just have like one layer, and it would just get really long, and it is really long, but it's technically half the size of what it would be if I didn't do it double layer. And I think it just looks kind of cool because I can just do that. But yeah, so this is the redstone. It gets pretty ugly if you're not familiar with redstone. It's just two simple item sorting systems, but they're just stacked on top of each other. And then, so I mentioned the bamboozled, so this just means that nothing else but that item can go in there. And then for you redstone people that have seen this, you know what's going on here. But see, there's those items coming out from the chests, and then these chickens come on through. And he's gonna make his way out there forever until he gets to his spot, which actually is down here. But Anyway, it just kind of goes along in a big loop around the whole base and gets filtered. It's honestly really inefficient compared to what could be done nowadays, but I don't know, I just like the aesthetic of walking around big hallways of items, right? So that's what I do, pretty much. And then I've got them color coded. This is actually a recent addition as well because I used to just have slabs, but then I was like, I want some color in here. It was just sandstone, right? Big, ugly sandstone area. Now I can walk really fast and have some more color in here. I just had the orange before. So, you probably saw this hallway down here. This has gone through many renovations, but currently this is a little farm here. Let's see. So farm, turn the farm on, and then this is for the really loud. Sorry, this is for that old, or not the old, the 1.16 fungus stuff I wanted to get those new nether trees. Bone meal. It bone meals it. I don't know what I'm gonna put in here. Probably a moss farm or something. Some little farm here that I can just come down here if I need something and get, but it's clearly not finished. It used to have a pumpkin and melon farm that was just really loud. Talking about you too, you're really loud. Anyway, but it was always running. Now I don't use it anymore because clearly it's gone. But here is bulk storage for the rest of the items that I need. That's just a mural I built. I'm thinking actually when I talked about on that mountain having something coming out of it, I'm thinking of something like this maybe, like a, I don't know, that looks like a bug to me or something, but I don't know. I just designed it because I needed something on this big square. But this is like the bulk storage for netherrack and soul sand. And soul sand I'm even storing shulker boxes because I have a lot of it. Stone and cobblestone, but I come down here and get it whenever I need it and store a lot. So those indicator lights indicate that there are items in the double chest behind it. So if we can not break anything, you can see there's comparators that are checking to see if there are items in these chests, and then they see that when it's not powered it's gonna come off. But because there are items in there, indicator light comes on. Over here are some potion smelters, potion brewers. They automatically brew potions. So like, let's say, I don't know, let's get night vision potions. If I want some night vision potions, it'll actually just automatically brew some for me and fill up this double chest, or fill up, you know, a full batch. And there is plenty of storage for that. I guess I need to refill the water bottles, but plenty of that, and I can have night vision whenever I want. Fortunately, there's no way for me to sort the potions from here, like individually, so they just kind of stay there on their own. We'll bring these with us. Yeah, so that is pretty much this whole main base area. This is where I just come to drop off my items at this point. I don't really spend too much time here otherwise because I work on other projects out in the world, but I do come here to drop off items quite frequently. Oh, these chests just have carpet and glass and stuff because I don't have that extended area yet, and I was just tired of digging around looking for carpet, so I just put them right there. I think there's some carpet right there. Let's go ahead and toss some more in there. So that is about it for this whole area. We can kind of do a quick little pan around here. And this is my main base. It's not a mega base by any means. It's something different. I wanted to try something different this time around. And it is very different for me. I know you don't know what I mean by that because you haven't seen any of my other builds, but this is different for me. Oh, I guess I didn't talk about this. We should probably talk about this. This is a little dock area. I was thinking about maybe putting some ships or like little boats coming through the water here. Not too keen on this retaining wall, to be honest, but it's been like 2 or 3 years since I built this retaining wall. And just got these like little log like bundles sitting on this dock. I don't know. It was just something to fill the area up, you know, and it was by the water. These this little forest here I built. Oh, this is actually the first biome, quote unquote, that I built, and it's because 1.14 came out, and you know, we got these campfires, we got the the berry bushes, and these little trees, and they were very tedious to build because there were so many of them, and now I'm lost in this forest and I can't get out. Okay, let's get out of there. So yeah, that is my main area. Now I guess we can go ahead and fly off to this little adjunct space. This is my ocean monument project. I wanted to build a type of terrarium around my guardian farm. Again, practicing building natural things. This was actually that first stone like overhang thing I ever built, kind of like I did in that village area. This is one I did first, and I think it turned out great. It is completely hollow, as you can see, but I think it looks great from the ground level. I'm extremely proud of it. It's the first thing I built in this area that is like really impressive to me. I think this volcano over here is okay. He's fine. I kind of just matched the land mass that was already here. Oh, I forgot to replace that. You didn't see that. Anyway, so this area is meant to be a terrarium type thing. I'm thinking of maybe doing like a magical mushroom forest or something. Those little buildings were actually already under the water. I'm gonna leave them there, just, you know, as a little thing to have going on here. This little stone rock structure thing is the most recent thing I built in this area because I was tired of building these trees. Building trees is very tedious, so looking for other ways to fill up this spot, and plus too many of the same thing is just kind of gets boring. But up here, kind of started using some of this moss that came in. This was a later addition after I built it because moss came out and I thought it would break up some of this texture a little bit. And then we've got this little custom pond here that I have being filled by the broken glass. And you get water pouring in from the ocean and it fills this up. And then this runs off down here, which all this ocean, not really ocean, but pond area is all custom. So we needed it to be filled in somehow. This actually marks a spider spawner, I think, a cave spider spawner or something, right below there. I don't know if I'll ever build a farm with it, but it's there. I don't know. We'll see. And then the guardian farm. Nothing special. I really need to redo the storage area. This is just a very temporary thing. This doesn't even auto sort or nothing. The guardians here are killed by wither roses, which was a pain in the ass to get because I did it with a very rudimentary wither rose farm that has now been dismantled because it was just awful. But I wanted to kill them in a different way, so I used the wither roses. And then just hopper minecarts underneath, picking up the items on both sides, and then dispenses. And it's very loud, but brings these over here, and there's clearly plenty of storage, but I want a better storage system. It's just trying to make it fit in here and still leave it an open area is difficult. Then I've got that magical floating beacon on both sides. And then my very, very, very fancy AFK spot up here. This is the perfect height for loading the Guardian Farm and not loading the caves below. Yeah, this is the magical terrarium thing that has been a major, major hassle. Next, I guess we can do my unfinished mob farm. Well, the farm itself is finished, but the build around it is not finished. So I've got Mumbo Jumbo's mob farm here that looks cool. It works wonderful. And I wanted to have these like towers with chains holding it up. It's just very tedious building a tower like this, so I built one and gave up. I will finish it at some point. But I really like these chains that I have going on. They're spawn proof because we don't want our farm, you know, losing its effectiveness. And I'm gonna get shot probably. But they spawn up there, get pushed down, drop, die, and then this is a storage for that. All of these chests are full, so plenty of that. That's why I don't even AFK over here anymore, which is why I haven't finished it. But I will finish it someday. Let's go ahead and ignore that portal for now and go back to the main base so we can go to our nether hub, because I'm tired of flying around the overworld. And this beacon here is the mark of 0, 0 coordinate here, so he's just there to know that's the exact center of the world. No reason to know that, but it's there. So let's move on to the nether hub. Well, I guess we can look at this map now. So this is the map of the area. Well, of the area that I'm going to show you anyway. Yeah, it's obviously can be completed, but I'm not really worried about showing stuff that doesn't have any builds in it. Mainly wanted to work on this area here and look at this. I think it's pretty interesting to look at. And then you got this here, which I haven't even updated in a long time. You know what, let's go ahead and just update it live right here. Can I... Why can't you come off? That was weird. Okay, let's go ahead and update these maps live on camera. So we can float here. Look at these maps. And okay, so now we can put those back, and then they are more accurate to what the area looks like. And then I will forget to update it for a long time because it's a project that I come back to very rarely. Whenever I just get the itch to build some trees or something, I come over there. Because I find that working on the same project for a long time gets me burnt out pretty quickly. And I have had many burnout spells on this world, but I come back to it every once in a while, and then I get inspired again to work on something until I get burnt out on another project, and then I go work on something else. So that's that area now. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, let's move on to the nether. Here we go. Alright, so we are in the nether. So let's just get a quick little overview of the area. While we're here, we can get a little bit of this action. So originally this nether was not this nether. I had a small little nether hub thing. What I ended up doing was going into the files and deleting my nether. And so most of this nether is new. Up in the roof, basically centered here, is not new. There's like basically the outline. You can kind of see where it cut off here. Old nether, new nether. And then I ended up building this fortress type thing. I call it the Crimson Keep. It's just, I don't know. I'm not huge on it, to be honest. I wanted something here. So I did build this. And it's cool to, you know, get some views of the area safely for the most part. But it's not my favorite thing in the world. I still think it's passable, I guess. I do like having this giant orb here. I think it's kind of cool. But anyway, so this is the nether hub. Over here, real quick. So this actually used to be a bastion remnant. This where this glass is. I just tore it all up to use these blocks. So that's, I just had the glass there to kind of mark where that area used to be. This is pretty cool. I don't even remember how to build this. I needed to build it 3 more times, but I haven't built it since. So I'm gonna have to like redesign it, I guess. But pretty cool drawbridge door here. And obviously it works on both sides, and either one of these buttons work. Here I've got Halloween mobs. I got these guys last year, I think. Oh, now we're getting hurt by these guys. Hey, back off. Anyway, even got some babies. These guys just wandered in here. And then some with jack-o'-lanterns this time as well. Pretty stoked about that. Up here is nothing special. It's literally just empty. Ow. Back off. I don't know how you spawned in here. Anyway. So up here, it's just nothing. I really don't know what to do with this area. It's just here. But it's cool being up here in this little orb. I don't know. It's really bright. We can hop down here now. And then we can see the rest of this place. So there's supposed to be drawbridges or draw doors. I don't know what you call it. Not drawbridges. These guys are a-holes, man. Leave me alone. Anyway, so there's those doors. And then each direction is paths to portals, basically. So let's start off with the section that I use the most, I would say. And that's here. Actually, let's go up here for a second. So, on the roof of the nether, if I can get up there, I have a gold farm. Now this was designed by El Mango, and then updated by El Mango for the nether update with the, what are they called? Magma blocks, there we go. So, for those of you that don't know what this farm is, basically, well, I should probably actually turn off hostile creatures because it's going to get very loud. But what you do is you punch them, and zombie pigmen tend to get very mad at you whenever you punch them, as you can see. This is a big problem, right? Well, if you stand here in the center, and then of course this guy spawned in here, they can see me, and there's a little AI trick that they end up walking here and then get killed by entity cramming with those minecarts, because there's only allowed to be 25 mobs in one spot, or 25 entities, I guess. And since there are 24 minecarts, I think I have there, they die whenever they land there. And then their XP comes to me and their gold gets collected and whatnot. So I just stand here and I get XP. And it's going to be broken in this next update, unfortunately. Or at least the XP part, from my understanding. So that sucks, but it's okay. I've got plenty of XP, and I've got other XP farms that I don't really need to worry about, but this has definitely been the best because it's just, you just stand there and do nothing. So down here, I have a storage area, and I wanted to have black glass so that I could, you know, see the bedrock. But I just recently emptied this, but this is the storage for the nuggets. We'll get rotten flesh. This is actually all full. Gold ingots, which I actually already emptied as well. And then piglin heads, which I don't need, but I have plenty of. And then over here was actually my original piglin bartering farm. Whenever 1.16 came out, I made piglin bartering farm because I wanted all the new items. And then they updated their item, like gifting or bartering, you know, that they give you. So I would need to expand this, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to expand this. So I just abandoned this basically and built a new one, and that's what reminded me to come up here because I have a new one down here. We'll get to that stuff later. Pretty cool, right? Anyway, so down here I have a new bartering farm, and this one's actually a little faster. There's just more piglins and a new storage system here. And then it also actually has sorting for the potions, because you can kind of sort potions out in a way, but obviously they don't sort them into their specific types. So just any type of potion or water bottle gets sorted here. And then any excess is going to get pushed in here, which this is all pretty much full. Like all the potions are full, that's why they're getting sent off into these next chests. But so this is the piglin bartering farm. Basically what you do is you make sure there's some gold in there, which I believe there should be, but you just turn this on and they should be dispensed with gold. No, I think I actually turned it off. So there is no gold in there. So we're going to go ahead and drop some gold in there. You can hear it going off there in the distance. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? We'll just go ahead and turn it on for showcase purposes. So they're all given their gold. They look at it, they're like, I like this. And then they will give me a random item of these items here. You see it gets very loud. So go ahead and turn it off, but they're gonna get this gold here still too. So you kind of see random items. And then they come up here in this item for, oh, this must be broken. Okay, something I need to fix, I guess. That's good to know. But anyway, items come here, and I can get it. See how some I have a lot of soul sand. I have a lot of soul sand. And this is just a little area I can AFK in when we're just trying to get this stuff. But I don't really use this anymore. Mainly I use this was for the nether quartz, because I don't like mining for things. And this is just an easy way to do it, because I got the gold farm up there, you know. But let's not worry about that area right now. Let's go up here to the bamboo factory and the bamboo powered smeltery. So this is actually a project that I quite enjoyed working on, both from a redstone perspective and then also just a decoration perspective. Although it looks like I'm missing some glass here. These guys just came through that portal. So this started out as just a bamboo farm, and the reason I built this away from my base is bamboo farms are incredibly laggy, and I didn't want this anywhere near my base. Well, then I decided bamboo is great for fuel if you have a lot of it, so I'll make a smeltery here as well. Let's go ahead and just make him leave me alone. So I've got this bamboo farm, and it is fully automatic. I can turn it on here shortly. This is what it looks like from the back. That didn't sound very good. Anyway, there was this village here. All these villagers have died from just existing while I'm AFK here. But, so basically, this is all the storage, just everywhere. And it actually feeds the smeltery down below, which I will show you shortly. Basically what you do is you dump you can just dump a double chest worth of stuff that you want smelted. And then it will get put down to the smeltery down below, and then just show back up here without any loss whatsoever, which is quite awesome. I'm going to go ahead and turn on this the bamboo farm now while it's nighttime. Kind of watch it go. See, it's getting pretty laggy there. Now, it's normally not this laggy because I just have it off. When you're AFK here, it's not going to get that tall nor that laggy. But just kind of showcase why I didn't make this at home. Plus, it's kind of an eyesore. But just kind of let this go for a second, and I will meet you back when it's done. So it's back. The flying machine is back, and it is incredibly loud. I'm going to go ahead and go into spectator again so we can kind of see what's going on here. So right now, all that bamboo that was harvested has been picked up and is being dispensed into this water stream, which goes up into this storage system, which is probably too full. So actually, no, there's room. That's good. So it's probably because I've used the smeltery not too long ago. But basically, what happens is, and this was the fun part for me, was wiring this up. So at once a day, basically, with this daylight sensor / nighttime sensor, depending on when I want to set it, it detects, the daylight sensor detects when it's nighttime, right? And then it sends a signal over here, just basically like, there's a little detector here to make sure it only sends one signal a day. And then it turns on this torch, which sends the flying machines off, and it says these are all hooked up to the same line here. But these all come flying here, and then they get sent back with the same contraption. But at the same time when these go off, it tells these hopper minecarts, which pick up the items, to go back this way and pick up items and come back, and then they just sit here waiting for the next thing to go off. So they never actually move until it's time for harvest, essentially. So and clearly there's some loss, but I'm not really worried about loss with a giant bamboo field like this. So yeah, now let's move on to the furnace array. So like I said, all of these chests are basically just hooked up into item input for a furnace array. And these items that you toss into the chest here are then evenly distributed across all of these furnaces, and then through timing and redstone and blah blah blah, you get the items smelted evenly, and then they get sent off into this, which is just an item elevator, and then that brings them up to this chest. And so it's all pretty sleek just in this little house thing. And then I've got a beacon hidden up here at the top, so that way you can get regeneration while you're AFK. You're not really going to take any damage, but just in case, it's always nice to have regeneration. Oh, see, it went off. You're going to see the flying machine back in action. See, it didn't create much lag, but there's plenty of items sitting here. And as soon as this gets back, it should send off See? Oh, I forgot. What I do is I have it whenever they hit this side. This guy says, okay, they're over here. Everything's been harvested. Then it sends a timer with just a lot of repeaters because I was feeling lazy and it's convenient. And then it sends those off to go pick up the items. So now you see all these items that were on the ground are all picked up and ready to go. Yeah, so that is the smeltery slash bamboo farm, which is not as useful as I thought it would be when I built it. I don't come here very often, although lately I've been making a lot of glass. So it does come in handy, and also smelting like smooth stone is very useful when I need like a double chest of it. Just come here, drop it off, wait a while, essentially, and then you come here. Alright, let's move down the hall, at least in the nether. We can go ahead and just toss that out there. I don't want that. So, oh dang it. Let me go back in there. Okay. So, down the hall. Oh, see, we got the super speed. I typically just kind of fly down here. We'll get to that later. This is kind of the more, we'll just call it grand thing I have here. This is my industrial district. This is where I build the majority of my redstone farms, because I want them to all be loaded for the most part at the same time. So I kind of designated this acacia biome as my industrial area. It started out just as a sugarcane farm, which is basically the same concept as a bamboo farm. But then I was like, I want to build some other farms here. So right now, any automatic farm gets its own little storage silo, which is obviously full. And then anything left over gets converted into bone meal. I've used a lot of bone meal lately, so this isn't full anymore. And this silo is a little different. This light only turns on when the entire... No, I lied. It's not when the entire thing should... I think it's only when the bottom chest is full. I don't remember how I did this. It was a long time ago that I made this. But this is bone meal storage. This is for melons and pumpkins. Remember I talked about I had a melon and pumpkin farm in my pyramid base thing, but I moved it. I made a much bigger one here. And so there's just a lot going on here, but that's the storage for that. Up there is a giant cactus farm tower. It's just massive, and it was very tedious to build, but it's built. It looks cool, kind of, for at least how cactus farms can look anyway. Plenty of cactus. I never get cactus, but I have it if I need it. And then anything extra, which everything is extra at this point, gets converted into bone meal with the composter. Over here we just have, this is just a manual farm here, but turn this on, you can get the glow berries like that. Oh, gotta stand a little further back, but get the glow berries because this is a new edition in 1.17 and I wanted to farm them. Unfortunately, there's no way to really fully automate this. So I got this little stand here. Plenty of bone meal. So I just moved a lot of bone meal out of these things into these spots. Here is a glow lichen farm. I'm not going to use it because I don't have a shear on me right now, but basically it's just gets bone mealed and then you get the glow lichen and then you just take it home with you. That's basically all it really is. It's really small and dumb, but hey, it's working, okay? This is just junk chest. Here is a potato farm using my, we'll call them involuntary helpers, slaves. So they do all of the harvesting of potatoes and they try to feed this guy, but that hopper minecart picks it up before it gets to him, so he's just going to be hungry forever, essentially. But then it gets deposited off into here. Oh, hello. I've never seen that spawn in front of me before. Anyway, little tiny storage silo for potatoes, because I don't really need them, but I just wanted to, you know, have them whenever I want. So I do. In a similar fashion, we also have wheat and we have carrots doing the same function. I mean, the wheat one's a little bit different in the way it's designed, but they're just storage silos for those items whenever needed. We can talk about that. This is actually one of my more recent builds. I'm not quite there on finishing it. I got kind of frustrated with it. This is a what do they call it? Azalea tree farms. The design is originally by Rayworks, but I've been trying to modify it to not use a TNT duper because I want to get away from that, just because I have plenty of gunpowder. It didn't quite line up like I thought it was going to, so it's a work in progress, but it's there. It kind of works. It just doesn't work 100% of the time. Here's just a simple little vine farm. You need shears for it because you can't automate it. And here's cocoa beans. Just little, these are, you got to do them by hand, unfortunately. There's no way to get around it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is remove all of these by hand farms and put them in their own sort of area. Probably in this same industrial district, but just in the same area to work on, if that makes sense. So, yeah. And then you're probably wondering what these are. These are a pain, but they are fully automatic fungus farms. These are the nether trees. If I turn this on, maybe we'll get one in action here. I don't want to die. Let's see if we, oh, see, one just grew, and then it'll be blown up. And the items get picked up, and then kind of see the redstone through here, so I have a little access door in here. So yeah, this is just a lot. I'm not going to try to explain this, but oh, I don't actually have a storage silo for this. I have a storage silo for the crimson log as well as the shroom lights. Then everything left of these netherwort blocks get composted and turned back into bone meal, which is used to fuel the farm. It is not self-sufficient. It's just a little bit extra. The main source of bone meal to this farm actually comes from here. So when I decided I was getting all this bone meal, I was like, I'm gonna make these giant tree farms. And these are the same farm. One's just for the red tree and one is for the blue tree. Or blue fungus. They're not technically trees, but they have wood, so they're trees. But any excess bone meal from this storage silo goes into here, and it's evenly distributed. We can actually show you down here. So right now there's not going to be any extra going through, but we can kind of follow the path here that the bone meal goes, and it goes in here. Actually, do I have a storage silo for this? Or I guess the bone meal doesn't go to the blue one. I might need to fix that. Maybe not. It's not that big of a deal, because I don't really use these farms too much anymore. Because, I mean, granted these are not full and I should fill them up, but I mean there's plenty of wood in here. So that's why they're never really on all that much. but maybe I should finish them. Here is another handheld farm. Oh, so you get this, and you just keep right-clicking and placing this down. So what's happening is it's bone mealing this, I think it's called drip leaf, and then it becomes too tall, but at the exact same time it then pushes this piece off and it gives it to you, but doing that breaks it. So you have to place it back down essentially. So yeah, so that's why you see there's bone meal there. I actually need to fill this chest up. I don't use drip leaf, but if I ever do need to use it, I can come here and just get a bunch. Yeah, so that's this stuff. That's just more TNT to fuel that. So that's all just double chests of TNT. Same with up there. Let's see what's down here. Oh, there's also over here little tiny cow farm that I never use, and a pig farm that I never use. It's just there to say that I built one, and that is literally it. What is this? Oh, carrots to breed them, and wheat to breed these guys. Over here, I built a little dripstone farm. So this is just kind of active. It just activates kind of like the bamboo farm, just with the daylight sensor. I don't have an on-off switch because it's really not that overbearing with it. Apparently it is overbearing. This is full. I forgot to do that. Okay. So that's a thing. I eat my words. But essentially with pointed dripstone, these things grow down, and then I can simulate it here with this. Apparently not. Apparently she is broken. That's not good. Oops. Is there a daylight sensor over here too? Okay. I think it's just because of the daylight sensor being on night. Well, we missed the action here, but kind of see that it breaks it, and then a hopper minecart will pick it up, and then it gets dispensed into these chests here, or this single chest. I didn't think I'd be getting that much, but I never check on it, which would explain why it's full. Will you back off? You're interrupting my tour. We don't want that going in there. Anyway, so over here, and then, so I wanted this also to just, you can just walk through it. I thought that would be a cool little idea. And then obviously I'll build something out here. There is a village, which I stole a couple villagers from already, but I plan on doing some villager stuff over here as well. I got those two just in case. I don't know if I'll build a new villager trading hall here or not, because at least for farmer villagers, I get a lot of their stuff here as it is, right? All this stuff. But I don't know. So that's just another idea, and maybe I'll do that out this way. You know, you walk through the path, and then it's just set up ready to go for more stuff. Over here, I've got two different things. So this is the original mushroom farms that I built that are just terrible. And then I literally immediately built this one. This one's better. It's still quite slow, but mushrooms are slow as it is. It's more of a numbers game. You need big, giant field of them, but I don't need mushrooms that bad. I just had it there just because I want to farm everything. So that suffices exactly what I need. And then I will tear this down and build something else over here whenever I get the need for something. Now over here is my Valley of Broken Farms. This was a cobblestone generator that worked for a long time using a TNT duper until it blew itself up, and I never rebuilt it because this place is chock full of cobblestone. And then I had like any extras being smelted, which I've taken all the stone out of here already, but it was chock full, so that's why I've never rebuilt it. I probably never will. We can back off here. But this was the on-off switch. It was pretty cool. Will you guys leave me? I'm gonna go to sleep real quick. Let's do that. Oh, now we're taking a lot of damage. Alright, where's that bed at? Did I move the... I moved the bed over here. I forgot about that. Whoops. That's awkward. Nope, bed's not here either. Where did it go? I guess we are just destined to be awake. Well, that sucks. Anyway, this was another recent build. It's Razeworks as well, I believe. This is a... actually, maybe it's not Razeworks. I don't know. It's been a while. This is a moss farm that's supposed to be a bone meal farm, but it's not. It runs on a loss. It's supposed to operate at a profit, but for some reason with timing that this stone ends up becoming cobblestone, which breaks it. And so I've just cut my losses and I'm just going to leave it. But yeah, it's pretty sad because I spent a lot of time trying to fix it, but for whatever reason, cobblestone generators, or stone generators for that matter, become cobblestone generators, and I can't fix it. And I need it to be stone in order for the farm to work, because moss cannot change cobblestone into moss. It can only change stone. But yeah, oh, we forgot about the copper farm that kind of works. So down here, there's actually 2 zombie spawners. One there and one there. And what this does is it drowns them, and then they get turned into drowned, and then they have a chance of dropping copper, which comes here, as well as their heads. It's nothing special. It's just it's just something to do while I'm AFK. So I'll use like a macro to swipe away at these while I'm AFK at this area and possibly get some copper. Because again, I don't like mining for things if possible. I like to try and farm everything. My friends always make fun of me that I make the game play itself, and that's kind of the point. So this has been the industrial district. Alright, now we're going to get into more unfinished territory stuff rather than work in progress. And my plan is eventually to finish everything in this world that I've done before I move on to something else. But I like to start new projects a lot, so it makes finishing things very difficult. Hell, these nether hubs aren't even finished, but I just keep expanding it. But let's move on to the Mob Head Museum as well as the end. And now I really like the end. I think you're going to really like that as well. It was a big undertaking. So I mentioned those mob heads that I got from a data pack. This is where I store them. So this also is very unfinished. This is just a kind of a temporary thing, but any mob head, I just keep the. Some of them say player heads because there was like a glitch. I don't know why, but we got the mob heads of the different mobs that I've collected, and then if I don't have them, like so, there's like a red strider and there's the freezing one. I don't have the regular one, so I just have a spot for it. Yeah, so there's a lot of mobs in this game, which means there's a lot of mob heads in this game as well. So like this one was a spider head, but it glitched and turned into a player head. But then I have the regular spider's head here as well. So I don't know. It's weird. But this is where I store the heads currently. I plan on building a much better museum of sorts here, but this is also in another pyramid. I have this out here in the jungle. I wanted to build like a cool jungle temple type thing. And this is what this looks like currently. It's very bare and unfinished, obviously, like a lot of the things are. But it's practical for now, even though it's not really. But yeah, so let's move over to the end. So I don't even have a way over there yet. I just have a thing where I walk through the jungle to a really, really unfinished project. But this is the end. I planned on having a staircase, like a spiral staircase, walking all the way down, but obviously you can just jump down and fly. Let's go ahead and set our respawn point so when we come back out of the end we can come here. So this was actually for an obsidian farm that I no longer use. Let's actually drop these in here and bring these along with us. I no longer use the obsidian farm anymore because I just have so much obsidian. But it's just there. Very loud. I now have a... Let's just go ahead and turn this down. I now have a sand generator thing going on. It's not currently running. I'll show that here in a little bit later. Which is why I want to start using TNT and not TNT dupers, because I feel like it's better if you kind of have to craft it, you know? Even though the sand is still not being mined by me technically, but the gunpowder is something that I worked really hard on getting and I want to use it, you know? So that's that. So this is the end. It's clearly very different than what it normally looks like. Big thing about it being that it is flattened out. Yes, it was a pain in the ass to flatten all this out. Took a very long time, a lot of burnout, but it got done. My idea was, one, to have it flat so you can walk around, but I wanted to build a sort of arena to fight the Ender Dragon in, where you have beacon power. You can see you got like the purple fog, but I wanted it to be to where you could technically beat him without using the elytra or anything, or pillaring up. So I made these staircases up, and the reason why they're made with endstone and obsidian is because those are blocks that the Ender Dragon cannot destroy. So no matter what, you will always be able to come up here without your elytra and just climb up to the top. No matter how tedious it is, still unbreakable by the Ender Dragon. And then you can come up here and destroy the end crystals and do that on all of them. I obviously like to just fly around, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. And then you've got these towers here. I thought about having like staircase towers everywhere, but it just got really cluttered, so I ended up tearing them down. These are what's left. You still have to kind of jump across, but it's very difficult without the elytra to get across. But I think I can still make it. Yeah, see, you can do it. And then you can go into the portal and leave whenever you're done. Out here is just a giant circle ring, which was a pain in the ass to do. A lot of mess ups, especially when you're building with obsidian. Ugh. But all of these exit gateways here are from defeating the Ender Dragon. So eventually this will be filled with them once I defeat the Ender Dragon enough times. I just haven't. It's not that I can't, I just haven't got around to it. Over here, I believe, is a couple farms I have in the end out this direction. No, this is not the right one. Great. That's no good. Let's see if I can get back real quick. I will be back in a little bit. Okay, so I've been flying around in the end and I actually found the farms that I was coming to show you. So the first farm I built out here was this chorus fruit farm. I never use it. I just built it to build it. You come up here, you harvest all the flowers so you can replant it. You harvest all the flowers, and then there's a button that I never hooked up to the front because I just built the farm just to build it, not that I would ever use it. But there's a button here that you press, and then it dispenses water and flushes it all, and then all the chorus fruit comes into this chest here, and then you're good to go. And then you got to replant it. So why I don't like doing it, because it's very tedious farm to use. I'd rather just chop all this stuff down. But there used to be an end city here. I've left part of it as a reminder. And I've captured a few shulkers so that I can take them to the overworld to eventually build a shulker farm. But that's going to be a very tedious process I'm not looking forward to, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. Over here is a honey farm and honeycomb that is kind of sort of built in a bee. Not really, because it's obviously a lot longer than the bee itself. This is my original little bee farm. This is where I was getting enough bees to fill hives up so that I could build this farm, and there's still just plenty. This was a fun little project to do. This obviously was in 1.15 whenever bees came out. So this side here gives you honey bottles. It's clear that I AFK here quite a bit, right? This side gives you honeycomb. I literally never use honeycomb. I do use honey blocks in redstone sometimes, but not really. Again, it was just the point of building the farm to build it. And I thought, I never use the end, maybe I should build that farm. Now, I don't know what happened here, but the portal disappeared. So I have to go find another portal. And there's just a button there for some reason, but the portal's gone. So I'm gonna go and find a new one. Like, I've already been lost here, but at least I found what I was looking for. So I'm gonna go wander the end until I find home. Okay, so I went through a portal, now I'm back here, and yeah, so this is my end, and this was a big long project that took a long time that I still like to come and look at sometimes, because I think like just these designs look pretty cool. They're very simple, but I don't know, I think they look nice. So I've got like the really big towers. I've got these sort of, like, by big I mean wide. I've got these like cross-hatch type things going on, and then on like the smaller ones, little dots. Or actually, no. The way it was is it's just alternating. That's what it was. It just so happened to be that the really big one I was looking at had the crosshatch. Anyway, we're gonna go back through here now. So yeah, this is the good old end and mob head area with a emerald beacon, because I thought the green would look good here in the jungle, and I think it does quite well. I need to finish these projects though, but I just don't have the motivation to do it. So let's come through here now and move on out here. What's out here? I've been playing this world for so long that I don't actually know where certain things are. So what is this? Pillager outpost. So I think this is just a pillager outpost. I haven't built a farm here yet. This is just like, this is where I need to be whenever I want to build a raid farm. And so it's out here in this desert. Let's see if we can get a skull off of you guys. Can you back off? Anyway, that is most of this tunnel now. This is just room for expansion. And there's a bastion remnant there. I'll tear that down one day too. Actually don't need to because of the bartering farm that gives me the blackstone now. This is where I was fighting the wither boss. What I would do is just turn off mob griefing so that I could just fight it here, because fighting the wither is just so annoying now. It's not really a problem, it's just annoying when you want to fight a lot of them for beacons. So, yeah. Anyway, down here, I think this is just a jungle. This is where I was gonna build something and then I decided not to. This is where I grabbed my pandas, which I currently have over there in the Crimson Keep, hidden away for my mob zoo project that I am currently starting. That's a good sentence. And then what was out here? I don't remember what's out here. A cave, apparently. I don't know. Probably some weird bug happened. And clearly the hub is... Hey, it's very ugly. I don't like this at all. But it's also not finished. And then, so yeah, so that's the rest of this tunnel. Now let's move on to this direction. So, ooh, this is actually one of the more recent things that I finished. So I have a flower farm. Well, now I have like 5, technically. Used to just be 1. It used to just be this thing, and it was outside. It's currently something's wrong. But outside, is it dark out? We should probably go to sleep. So out here in the air, I've got 4 more flower farms. Oh wait, no, I think it is just off. Okay, yeah, it's just off down there. It's not broken. So the water just always comes on, but whenever I turn the farm on, which I can do from down here, and I never hooked up like a power switch to turn the whole thing on from down there because I couldn't really be bothered. But it's just the ground gets bone mealed and it's time to where it'll do that. Looks like it's kind of laggy right now. Could be because I'm recording. But yeah, and then the flowers and stuff get sent to ground down there and then it gets sorted out. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these farms off so that we're not wasting bone meal. I mean, it's not really a waste, but I don't really need to farm this stuff right now. But in here, the flowers get sorted out. That's weird. That's also weird. That's weird. Anyway, all the flowers sorted out, and then any seeds or anything like that gets turned into bone meal. Obviously not a very self-sufficient farm, but extra bone meal is always nice. And then you'll be able, well, I guess it's turned off. We could probably do it from here though. Let's go ahead and turn this one on. So you see the flowers get picked up there. And then they should go through this item elevator right here in a second. And then they'll get sorted out. Over here, these are the 4 tall flowers in the game. When they get bone mealed, they just drop their flower. So I just have this system here to just spam you with all these types of flowers. For whenever you need them, you can just come here and get flowers. Don't need them really ever, but hey, we gotta farm for them. Now, here is my mining desert. This is where I got all the sand. It's a little weird up there. Yeah, this is where I got all my sand and sandstone for my temple, pretty much. So, yeah, this is looking pretty bare, as you can see. And then over here used to just be a giant, like, sandstone mountain, all torn up, as you can see. I hollowed out the inside at first, and then I ended up just tearing it apart completely, because I was like, I don't want a hollow thing, because it just became a big mob farm, and it was a big problem. So I tore it all out. Over here is actually a village. I don't know if villagers are still alive here or not. Probably not. Anyway, oh yeah, here's some more of the stuff that I hollowed out as well. So, went through a lot of sandstone for that project, you know, the pyramid and all that stuff, and a lot of sand. And I honestly just got tired of digging the sand, so I built a sand generator very recently, actually, within the last 2 weeks. And I've only used it for very little time because it just works so fast. But yeah, and then down here should be where I was doing some mining. Ooh, don't want to die. Just with a beacon, you know, insta-mine on the pickaxe. I was trying to fight a bunch of withers at once down here, but the redstone didn't quite work. It was just a pain in the ass, so I didn't end up finishing that. Then I built that little thing in the nether instead. And there's obviously a slime chunk down here. Yeah, so, but I don't really mine anymore, so that's why that's like that. Yeah, nothing here. I think I used to keep shulker boxes for sand, because I went through a lot of sand. Especially making that whole oasis area. It was awful. Down here is where I did my mining for the netherite. I don't remember building this room, but I vaguely remember. But you use a lot of TNT, right? So I would come out here and just wreck the place with TNT. And I use a lot of that obsidian that I have to, you know, keep the walkway back here safe. I don't really get netherite anymore because I've just got a good set here. Oh, another data pack that I have, which is pretty cool, it's armored elytra, so you can combine your elytra with your chest plate. And so it works as a chest plate, but still allows you to fly. It's a single player world. I just like to have fun, you know, and it's quite awesome. Anyway, so over here, I don't know what's down there, but this was my pufferfish farm. slash tropical fish as well, I believe. This filled up very fast, and I don't even know to this day why I built a pufferfish farm. I don't need this much pufferfish, but it looks like it took out all the pufferfish from here. That's probably why it's just all tropical fish. But this is just bubble columns that they can spawn in, and it pulls you down, but it's only like last two. I'm gonna drown in here. We might be stuck. Ugh. Let me out of here. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. We are out of there now. But anyway, I will be building some coral farms out in this direction too, because we have a coral reef here. But that's another project for another day. That's just one of my projects on my list of things to do. Up here is where you would AFK for pufferfish. I have no idea if it still works or not, to be honest. I don't need it to work. I got more than enough pufferfish from this thing. I took it all home, filled it up, my storage for it. Good to go. This is probably the last time I will be over in this area until I work on that next project. And it's probably been at least a year since I've visited that spot anyway. Let's figure out what's down here, because I have no idea. Oh, you know what? I do know what this is. This should be a woodland mansion, I think. Come on, let's get out of here so we can fly. Ooh, that would have been rough to go get my stuff, huh? Alright. Oh my god. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. But I'm still gonna fly anyway. As you can tell, I die a lot on my world because I'm reckless. It's why I will never play hardcore. I'm just too reckless to do that. Alright, this should be a woodland mansion if I'm not mistaken. Okay, it is. Well, it's clearly not a woodland mansion, but there's one down below. So I was stealing the vindicators and evokers that spawn in here to use them for my mob zoo. So they came from here. Big pain in the butt. Still got plenty more to come get. And yeah, he really likes me, clearly. So let's see. Let's head back home, but we're gonna go with the way this portal up here is going to take me to the roof of the Nether. And then I can show you a couple other things while we're up here. So, don't kill me. Okay. So, back on the roof of the Nether. We can follow this track. This is that track that was underneath the gold farm that you saw some spinning minecarts. Right here is actually... I was flying around in the overworld generating the new terrain with the new update. Found this really pretty area that I am too scared to build anything on, but I like to come here and look. I find it to be just beautiful. And there's even this really massive cave system down below. This place is just awesome looking. But I don't think I'll ever build anything here because I'm too afraid to ruin it. Yeah, Alright, so let's do some more exploration of this area. So over here is a ghast farm that I have no idea if it still works. I got plenty of ghast tears. I built this specifically for that brewing system. Okay, clearly there's a ghast here, but he's not taking any damage. So that's weird. Anyway. Oh, don't break anything, please. I guess mob briefing's off. Or, no, I have a data pack that he can't destroy anything. That's right. But, yeah, so there might actually be some... I took all the gas tiers home. A farm that I don't use anymore. But it's a farm that I built and I spent a lot of time on years ago now at this point. So there's a gold farm. Here are some of those vindicators that I have stored up and ready to go for my eventual mob zoo that I'm currently beginning on, you know. Over here, real quick, we can show off the Hoglin farm. Those big guys that were kicking my butt earlier. Farm them pretty good. They give me a lot of food. We can actually stock up on some food while we're here. Simple farm. They just spawn there and get scared by these fungus and then walk into the lava. Super simple AI farm. Pretty overpowered, to be honest, but it is what it is. Now, let's move on out this direction to the Wither Skeleton farm. This thing, whew, long process. And it truly got me burnt out. And it's actually so efficient that I can't deal with the items fast enough. I haven't figured out a good way of doing it, unfortunately. Actually, I don't even know where oh, there it is. Okay. So, yeah, you'll just have to see. So this was big process here. I think it might be safe to drop down there. I'm kind of scared to find out, but we're just gonna do this. So, yeah, as you can see, it's a big open area. This used to be a fortress. This uses Wither Skeleton AI, although he's kind of stuck. They don't like piglins, so they come chasing after these piglins, as you can see over there. And what ends up happening is they fall down, take some damage, see him, fall down, take some more damage, same thing on this side, and they see him and then fall down. Okay, it was safe to jump there. And then you come in here and you just, I just saw another Wither Skeleton skull there. Yeah, these guys are one-hit kill with your fist, I believe. Two-hit kill. One-hit kill with a sword for sure. But use your looting sword. That's how you get coal and bones and Wither Skeleton skulls. I don't come here anymore because I've got way more than I need. But it was a big project and it was really fun doing this, especially figuring out a way to funnel them. This project was not so fun, but funneling them was fun. Oop, now we're stuck. Anyway, thread the needle. Okay, there we go. Now which direction is home? I believe it's this direction. Let's head towards 0, 0. That's what we'll do. Okay, head towards 0, 0. Okay, I will see you in a second. Say hello to these guys again. And now we're going to drop down here. And we can explore the rest of the nether hub. So real quick, I can actually show you the pandas. They should be in here. Yeah, you can kind of just see them trapped in there. Been breeding them up in there for that mob zoo. Over here, I think. No, actually, I know where they are. Let me fix that. Should be in this one. I got goats. Yummy, yummy goats. Ready to go. Yeah, so now let's actually do this little portal here. So this is one of the first farms I built. At least the skeleton spawner part. I ended up building a little AFK tree farm in here as well. This is a manual one. So there's the skeletons, they come down here, and there's this little system here for the dogs to see them, although currently it's broken. I don't know why the redstone unloaded and got stuck, but skeletons will spawn here, or spawn there, be one hit kill, and then the dogs, which are sitting in minecarts, will kill the skeleton and the XP would come to me. And then the bones and stuff would end up in this chest. And I use the bone meal for this AFK tree farm. So I believe it's, so yeah, it's on hand mode. So you just come in here, and I don't have any saplings. Let me grab some saplings. We only have birch. Okay, we're doing a birch tree. So what you would do, I think you actually want to do this. So you left and right click at the same time, and you would place it down, and it's timed perfectly to where when you break the tree, it then, okay, I think it's meant for a little taller tree, but then it bone meals the tree, and then you do the same thing again. So we're gonna go ahead and break that, but I'm gonna not replant it again. We're gonna walk away, but then all this stuff is then deposited to you, so you collect any of the saplings, and then anything you don't collect goes in this hopper, and then the hopper system takes it all over here. So like that wood I didn't pick up goes there. I don't think there's any leftover wood in here, but yeah, and that works for both birch trees and oak, and I honestly need to harvest oak again. It's been a long time since I've done it, and I'm almost out of oak, but I got plenty of birch, that's for sure. So yeah, this is a nice little farm, my skeleton spawner, and this is actually right by the mountain. We go into spectator mode. See that mountain there? This is where the skeletons actually come out. I meant to extend this mountain, and I probably will at some point, to obviously cover this up, but yeah, so that just kind of shows you how close this is to home. We can just kind of see the spectator mode version of this area while we're here. Caves are lit up quite a bit for that slime spawn or to work, although there's a lot of new caves down below that need to be lit up due to the new update. Ooh, what is this? That's cool. Anyway, let's head back to the nether. We can get up here. Oh, oh, come on. Dang beacon hadn't come in yet. Okay, so we went through that portal. Now we'll move on to here. So this should be an ink. No, this is a nether portal gold farm. Okay. This was just, I built it just because I had a lot of obsidian. That's really why I built it. I already had that other gold farm, but I wanted to use a lot of obsidian. So these are all just nether portals. They spawn pigmen. They wander after these turtle eggs. And then they fall down in here and you just kind of stand. Oh, we can't fit. Okay, we stand in here and you kill them. And that's just to burn the items because you get a lot of swords. I'm tired of swords. But yeah, I just built this just because I wanted to use the obsidian. That was it. No use for that gold at all. And that's where we're heading next. So over here we've got my squid farm. This is how I get my black ink now, which funny enough I don't need anymore after building that dark ravine. But you literally just stand up here AFK and squids spawn down there and then they die and then you get a lot of you get a lot of ink sacs which you turn into black dye. This is actually where you AFK right here, right above it. And you probably should be able to see some more spawning soon. Maybe I don't have my render distance set to the right thing, but oh well. Let's go ahead and head back so I can show you the next thing. So this is another, it's for the most part it's finished. It's functional. It's just not decorated all the way. And there's one more function I haven't added yet. But this is my new wool farm, and for some reason none of these lights are turned on. But this is wool. I just stole a bunch of wool here not too long ago. So that's why it's not even rendering, or it's not even filled up yet. But up this tower here is a extremely overly complicated wool farm that I built just because I could, and it took a long time. So this is what the tower looks like. It is never going to really run out of shears ever. I think there's still shears up here. So literally like all of these hoppers have shears, and this is what I use all that iron for in my storage. A, the hoppers, but B, all the shears. All these chests are filled with shears, and you have hopper minecarts going around replenishing with shears. But basically, these work the same way as the little tiny sheep farms I have at my oasis area. But this is 16 of them per floor, so 16 per color. There's 16 colors, which is 16 squared, which I believe is 256, if I'm not mistaken. I believe there's 256 sheep here. It's a little bit of a loss sometimes, but as soon as they eat grass and regrow their wool, they're immediately re-sheared, and then the wool is picked up and sent down to storage. And it does that for every single color. Boy, was this tedious. Getting all of these sheep in here. Oh my gosh. Wow. Never want to do that again. I don't know why I put this on myself. Other than the fact that I could do it. That's about it. I will never need this much wool. And I'm trying to design projects that will require me to use all of this wool. So I'm thinking about using all the wool to make like a wool land biome, like where all the grass is green wool, the water is blue wool, all the trees are made with wool, you know. And I've also thought about making giant, you know, sheep statues, or just a land of giant statues of different mobs or something. I don't know. This is just 4 wheat farms that send the wheat up to this tower up here. I did this specifically to breed the sheep, And I still need to do some more breeding because I wanted to get all the mob heads in the game, right? And I need one for every color sheep. I don't have all of them. I have most of them. But the wheat comes up here. I'm not sure how full this is. Oh wow, it's already over here now. So all of these chests are hooked up. It just circles around and then, well, this would be the last one that fills up. I don't think it'll ever get to that point. I'm not AFK here enough. But a lot of wheat there. And then this is a breeding machine that kind of works. So you're supposed to stand here, and I had like a macro where I would do this and breed them, and this would give me wheat every once in a while, but it sometimes breaks. It's a little weird, and I wanted to be able to just breed a bunch of sheep while I go do something, come back and slaughter them for their heads, which I know is very, very humane, but it's what you gotta do sometimes. So I would just break that wall and then they would drop down here and I can slaughter them. But I also use it to just get the sheep bred up so that I could then take them up a water elevator up to their floor whenever I got to that point. Now it's useless. I also plan on building an iron farm here, just another one to replenish the shears. And then I also need to hook up this door. So on this side, I believe both of them open up. Yeah, I plan on doing a bunch of stuff here, but right now it's just not complete. And yeah, so that's this whole area. See, villager, wheat farm, and iron farm for sustainability. Tower of all. Okay, we got all that done. Cool. That's awesome. Anyway, so that's this whole side of the Nether Hub. Now I believe we just have one last section to show off. Yeah, so this way is, for the most part, the newly generated chunks. This is a drowned farm that's broken. We're not going to worry about that. It doesn't even work. We will show off this part last because this is what I'm working on right now. This is where I'm going to be building a mob zoo, but it's very, very early stages. Over here, so when the new update came out, 1.17, I wanted to check out the new terrain, so I did. I found this, I think it's, I don't even remember what the biome's called, but it's so pretty. It's like a plateau grassland thing. What's it called? Meadow. There we go. I wanted to build a castle here. I mean, just look at this terrain. I obviously haven't finished the castle because I got burnt out when I built the wall. I spent a couple days building the wall and then it just got really burnt out. But I love flying through this valley canyon thing. There's even a village here. It is incredible to look at. Just beautiful. Cannot recommend this terrain enough. And this beautiful castle wall, of course, but very unfinished castle here. Just really, it's a good place to come and fly around. That's why I like coming here. And then here's a map of that area. Oh, why would you do that? Anyway, back to looking at the wall. Okay, so beautiful wall. Let's move on to what's next. Oh, yes. So, a couple months ago, my friends and I started playing on a server together that we were hosting, and found this really awesome seed that has this giant island with a mountain on it, and I was like, I love this seed. We stopped playing on the world together, But I love the island so much that I went ahead and moved those chunks into this world here and just put it smack dab in the ocean. And turns out there's an ocean monument here. But do I have enough? Okay, I'll be able to fly around here. This place is beautiful. And you will probably notice that this is actually on the intro of this video. And it'll be in the outro. But this is a massive, massive island that has a lot of biomes on it. But it was just floating out in the ocean. And so I loved it and I wanted it in this world. I haven't built anything here yet. But it's so cool. I just couldn't leave it on its own. And so now it's just a part of my world. Yeah, this section is old terrain. They got replaced. So yeah, not quite perfect on its entry into the world. I'll have to kind of remove some of that stuff there. But yeah, so giant mountain, just massive, and it's beautiful, and it's on an island all by itself. And it's just great to fly around as well. Yeah, very unfinished nether tunnel because I don't come here very often. But down here is actually something that's quite old. This is the ice farm. So what I did is I used a third-party program to find where a snowy biome was on my world, and I just built the portal there. So I didn't generate any of the land on the way there. That's how I have some of the old terrain with the new terrain. So this is old terrain. But this is a ice farm that uses flying machines. It's wonderful to be in at night. You're actually down below where you collect the ice, but I just want to show you what it looks like up here. So I think it's like once a day. Whew. Thanks for making me fall. And we're gonna fall again. We'll get up here eventually. Anyway, oh, actually the ice farm is broken right now. I think I left the area whenever it was going. Well, anyway, I'll fix it one day. What happens is this thing flies around and it pushes the ice down. And currently it should be fine. Yeah, so I harvested it at some point. But it pushes the ice down, and then any ice if it's full, it won't break. So what will happen is ice will be pushed down far enough to where it can melt down there and just turn into water. And so I can still harvest ice or choose not to harvest it, and it won't like break the farm or anything. But it looks really cool when this whole thing is completely full because it's just like these rows of ice. It's not the most fun to harvest because you're just moving like this. And ice is so slippery and annoying, and yes, I know they're shooting at me. I just don't care. Especially him. I don't want to cause a raid. But yeah, I can't sleep because there's just a little snow farm there with the snow golem as well. And over there is just more snowy area, and didn't build anything with it. It was just there. So yeah, that's the end of this tunnel. I believe that is the end of the Nether hub, and technically I think that's the end of the tour. Oh wait, we're forgetting the mob zoo. It's just so new, I don't even think about it being a part of the world. So before we step in here, I'm going to go ahead and show you on the screen what my plans are for it, and then we will go through there. Okay, so here is the blueprint sort of thing I've got going on for my eventual mob zoo. So right now the portal is over at this welcome area thing. It's a little bit below. You see where this brown square is. You kind of barely see that portal there. But in that welcome area, there's a little fountain with a beacon. I don't know if that's how I'm going to keep it or not, but I just built that there just for now. In the yellow section, I plan on putting all the passive animals like your cows, your sheep, your pigs, your pandas, your ocelots, wolves, all that stuff. They'll be there. In the red section, that's where I'm going to put all the mobs from the nether, both hostile and passive. I'll just kind of have that be a very nether themed mob area, you know. There's just everything's gonna be there. I think it'll probably look like the nether as well. Like you're just gonna go into like a nether biome. Maybe I'll even keep the nether biomes in there as well. I don't know. I'm thinking this through as I'm talking about it right now, clearly. In the orange, that's where I'll put all the overworld hostiles, so that's where you're going to get your zombies, your skeletons, your spiders. I probably won't put endermen there. I'll probably put them down there at the bottom or in the end mobs. But yeah, your husks, strays. Actually, the strays are probably going to end up going over there on the right in that snowy creatures and goats. I plan on putting the goats there because it's a little mountain sort of thing. I thought that might be cool. I thought maybe having some type of elevator that brings you up. And then here's the blue section. That's where there will be an aquarium where you'll get your guardians, all your fish, your axolotls, your squids, your glow squids, your dolphins. I will have an aquarium in there. And then obviously at the bottom you have the end mobs, which are endermen, endermites, and shulkers. That's why it's pretty small, because there's not a lot of end mobs at the moment. And I can't obviously have an ender dragon. One, because you can't spawn them in the overworld. But two, I don't want them to destroy the area. Anyway, that is where I'm going to keep everything. And then I'll have, in that gray, I'll have like some little like food vendors and like seating, just like you would have like an actual zoo have, you know. So I thought that might look cool. It might end up changing to a new section of mobs if I decide that there's something else I want to put there. I want to try and get every mob in there, but I don't know, I think what I have covers everything, but who knows. And then lastly, you see that brown pathway. Those are actually going to be little train stations, and then a train that, well, it's going to end up being a minecart, but you'll be able to take a minecart through it. But there'll also just be straight up walkways around the whole thing. But I want to be able to like fast travel, quote unquote, if I want to, around the area, because this is actually quite a big area. And it might end up actually being bigger than what this is currently designed. This is just a rough sketch of what I'm thinking about. But anyway, those are the plans. So now I'm going to show you the area and kind of show you how I'm starting this. And I was actually started working on this today before I decided to start recording a world tour. So anyway, let's get back to the game. All right. We're heading to the future mob zoo. So, as you can see, very spectacular. In the image you saw was actually just done in paint. This is just me kind of starting that process, visually comparing it. This is obviously not going to stay this way, but this yellow and brown and right here was actually done today. So I plan on having walkways up in the air, and then down below we'll have the enclosures, and then I'll probably have some enclosures up top too, like up here and stuff. But this is me kind of plotting out the walkways and how I want to do it, and then this is me just kind of thinking of how I want an entrance to be. This is probably not going to stay this way, but this is what the area looks like, and hopefully you will join me in the future to see the finished product. This is obviously done in survival, so it's going to take a long time, but I think it's something that I'm interested in finishing actually, because it's been something I've been thinking about for literally years, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. But it's a process, so I hope you join me and we can work on this together. Let me see if we can see anything else around here before we end this very, very long tour. My voice is killing me. I have never talked this much in one sitting, especially to myself. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. So, I think it's this way. We have a blaze farm. There's no path to it. You just fly until you see that out here, marked with the blaze head. This is as finished as it's going to get. We don't use that blaze spawner up there. We use this one down here. So, blaze spawner, and then you ride the twisting vines. This is when twisting vines came out with another update. You stand on here, and it activates this clock to push them into the center because of the way it's designed. It's a 3x1 hole, but that gets a little difficult to hit them all, so I designed this thing where you just stand here and it'll bring them here. I don't know why nothing's spawning. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you just have a AFK clicker thing with a macro, and you just kind of stand here and swing away. And then, yeah, and then the blaze rods come up here, as well as any possible skulls. This is where the skulls go. I've obviously cleared it out, but blaze rods. Plenty of blaze rods. I haven't been here in a long time either. That's clearly, I forgot that it existed. But it was a fun project for sure. And I should finish it. I should decorate it a little more. I have that problem. I need to get better at it. But I think that is about it, actually. Well, speaking of farms, I didn't show you the Enderman farm over in the end, or the sand generator. So we can do that too. Oh, I didn't show the amethyst geode farm either. Wow, we're gonna have to do a lot of running around here. So this is the room with this new portal here, and it is a sand generator. I don't have any sand here to generate. You're just gonna have to trust me that it works, but basically what it does is you put sand there and it tricks it into thinking that it sent the sand through. At the same time it's pulled away, and so it like duplicates the sand, and then that sand goes into the end, and then the end deals with it essentially. So yeah, and then it comes through here, and then it gets literally just shot and smacks this wall. There's 4 farms on that same portal, and each of those farms push it to a different section here. and then they get broken and then sent here. And it also works with concrete and gravel. But while we're here, we can also look at my little Enderman farm. I think this is designed by Nembomb. I built this long time ago. It is incredibly fast. Look at these guys. So they see the endermite that's up there in the minecart, and you just stand here. This is at the bottom of the world, so it's, so if you see here, we're at 1. We are at the very bottom of the world, and we can just keep killing them. Obviously, it takes longer to kill them because they are not one-hit kill like normal Enderman farms are. But it's still quite fast XP wise, and we can just, you know, remove all this if we want to. Gonna let other things go in there. I don't care about ender pearls. Oh, see, we got an enderman head. That's what I was looking to see if we would get. I'm gonna leave that there for future me to find and be excited about. We're gonna just toss these flowers away as well. Clear up some inventory space. Yeah, so I think that's it. Oh, the witch farm. The witch farm is the last thing, I think. This is a very old world for me, so there's a lot of things to run around. And obviously we slept here last, so that's why we're here at the flower farm. But actually is good because we're close to the witch farm. So the witch farm is this direction. What's over there? Back off. Oh, that's the portal to the overworld mob farm that was with those towers and chains. I usually just fly over there because it's pretty close to home, but so this is a witch farm and a kelp farm because I figure, well, I'm AFK at the witch farm, I could also get kelp. This required a lot of TNT duping to clear the area and a lot of black concrete as well. So the witch farm is actually above us. We're going to go ahead and fly around here. So the witch farm is here. It was from a witch hut in the swamp. I actually had to remove this twice. So it used to be the ground level was like here, like this was bedrock, and then we got lower of the game and there's a lot of caves underneath, so I just used TNT duper to, you know, a TNT flying machine duping thing, which I think might, no, I think he's gone now. Anyway, got rid of most of this stuff with TNT because I just didn't want to dig it out again, especially the deep slate. It's awful. This is definitely not your most compact redstone, but it's kind of smart. So this is how you turn the witch farm on, and then these tell you where the sweeper is for the kelp farm. So essentially, well, 1, kelp gets smelted 2 using the sticks from here. So there's a kelp farm down here, and see the sweepers are here. So basically, I guess we have to go to the other side. So on the other side, this thing just spends its days smelting kelp for you. And I think I tossed in some block of coal just because I wanted to get rid of a lot of the kelp because the sticks just weren't going fast enough. There's just leftover kelp here as well. But essentially, it checks to see if there's room in the chest for kelp, and if there is, the farm will be on. The kelp farm will be on. and if there's not, it won't release the sweeper. But then the problem with these sweepers is that if they get unloaded, they can break. So I have these indicator lights to tell me that the sweeper is in the docking station. And then also I have this one to tell me if the farm is actually on in the first place. So like both of these are off, it's fine. If one of these are on, there's a problem. If both of them are on, it's fine. And these will only ever turn on if this is on. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And then this is where I get all my redstone and glowstone. Also a lot of gunpowder. But I have that other mob farm too. Sugar and glass bottles, which I used for that potion brewing. Spider eyes, which I use for potion brewing, and then sticks, which I use for fuel. Kelp, which I also used for fuel, which now I just use coal and bamboo, and I have a lot of fuel available at all times. But yeah, so now that I've shown you everything, I will really end this time, I promise. This has been a very, very, very long video. I am so thankful if you have made it to the end. But we can now look at the rest of this map wall. So I wanted to show off. I didn't want to spoil the way the witch farm looks. So we're just gonna hop down here and hop up here. So we obviously looked at this. Well, I still need to update this actually. This is what it looked like before I had to fix it. There was like lava pools and all this stuff. Now it's just bedrock again. I had like a glass floor so that nothing can spawn on it, which required a lot of mining of the desert. Because I didn't really want to use the bedrock, but then I decided I'll just have the bedrock at the bottom. It'll look cool since I'm blowing it all up anyway. But that's just to show how massive this thing is. And this is actually a square. It's just the way this wall works. It doesn't line up, but it is a perfect square. And then there's a little mob farm there. And then you can tell I labeled them so that I see them on the map. But yeah, so that is officially everything in this world that has been around since the 1.14 snapshots, which is a long time ago now. We are in 1.18.2. And where should we end this? Let's go stand on top of the giant tree. Sounds like a great place to be. All right, let's see here. So that's my world. I don't know what else to say here, but thank you for sticking to the end here. It's been a long journey. I hope you were inspired by some of the things that I've built. I hope you were inspired by some of the things that I didn't build that you noticed. I hope you like what you saw. If you didn't like what you saw, comment down below. Tell me what you did and didn't like. I'm always looking for constructive feedback because I like to hear people's opinions. You know, that's not going to make me change anything per se, but I'd like to hear what you got to say. Anyway, leave a like on this video if you like this world, if you like me. I know I'm pretty cool, but anyway, I will hopefully start doing a series on this world and start on that mob zoo, because I want to kind of show you guys the process of what all this is. Anyways, until next time, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.